Today I am spending 100 days in a Minecraft Dark Souls mod. Well, not just by myself, this is actually a duo let's play and I'll be joined by my friend Alex. All of these mods will be linked down in the description, and before we get started, I do have a few goals in mind for the video. Our first goal will be to kill a dragon, which will be quite frightening. Our second goal is to kill a Hydra boss, and this is a boss that has a lot of different heads. And our third goal is to defeat Barako, the Sun Chief. Oh, and also one quick thing, just please consider hitting that subscribe button. Yeah, thanks, enjoy the video. As day one started, we just loaded into the server and it was already becoming nighttime, so I wouldn't really count this as a day, but either way we went to a nearby village and slept. It was already day two, and from the start, we were getting spawn killed by cockatrice. These things would snipe you from hundreds of blocks away, and they would give you the wither effect, which was very annoying. Oh, and they also apparently give the nausea effect, which literally makes my head want to explode. But after we got out of the village, I started exploring a nearby house, and it turns out that a bunch of overpowered skeletons were spawning there. Obviously, I died. We were kind of off to a pretty rough start, but I eventually gathered some wood and started crafting a set of tools. On day 3, Alex found a Vindicator camp, which had a lot of really good loot, but also a ton of enemies. I think we died about 3 times each of these guys, but in the end, we killed them all and took over the camp. And there was actually a lot of pretty good stuff, like enchanted bows, armor, and even some weapons. The next day, we did some mining, and we got a lot of iron ore. We will pretty much use all this later to craft us some more armor and stuff. Also, a huge thing about this mod pack is skills. Any XP levels you gain add towards your skill points, so I'm going to mainly be using my skill points to upgrade like my speed, defense, and then also my health. Day 5, we smelted all of the iron we got, we geared up, and we found a pirate ship. Right before we explored it though, I crafted a greatsword which was made out of a bunch of iron, but I was able to basically one-hit those skeletons on the boat with the sword. We took over that ship very easily, and then went back to the house I found earlier, and then just slept. On day 6, there is not much to talk about. All we did was do a lot of exploration, but I did find a Hydra boss, which if you remember from the beginning, one of our goals is to kill a Hydra boss, but that'll be another time. It was now day 7, and as we were heading back home, this huge bird started attacking Alex. I'm not sure how he found it or how it even got attacking on him, but this took us like 5 minutes to kill. It also dropped absolutely nothing, so that was a huge disappointment. For days 8 and 9, Alex logged off, so I decided to go for a nice mining trip. Luckily, I found some diamonds extremely early, so I crafted myself a diamond pickaxe. Honestly, the only reason I even did this was so that I could mine some obsidian for an enchantment table, because enchantments would help us out a lot. As day 10 started, Alex found a dead dragon, so we collected all of its bones. We were able to use those bones to craft a dragon sword, which later on could be upgraded with dragon blood. Now it was day 11, and we were finally going to fight a dragon. We had to travel a long journey across the ocean, and then we came across a fire dragon, which I believe it was a stage 3, so it wasn't that hard, but it was still a very intense fight. Oh my!
Nope, dragon.
I used my totem.
Did he just
It picked me up.
I hope my stuff didn't burn.
I fucking died. Oh, I got it pretty low from like 3 bow shots. Oh, it's almost dead. I got it. Wait, I got it.
Nice.
So I killed it, and we did make sure to bring some extra bottles so that we could collect all of its blood. We also went over to its nest and stole all of the gold at it and then looted all of the chests. From day 12 to 13, we got distracted by a pirate ship on our way home. And let's just say that this all just turned out terribly. I died and all of my stuff ended up burning, so I lost all of the dragon blood. This was a huge setback though, because I had basically everything I owned on me. As I got home though, it just turned day 14, so I crafted myself another dragon sword, and then we had some spare ores laying around, so I just made some silver armor. Day 15, we attempted to kill the Hydra boss, but it just ended up in us dying multiple times. Luckily, we didn't lose any items, so we got everything back. But from dying so many times, we did figure out a strategy on how to kill it. Apparently, they regenerate their health unless they are on fire. So I had a flame bow, and then Alex had a flame sword. So later we would regroup and then come back to kill the Hydra another time. I started day 16 by hunting rabbits because I really wanted to tame a hippogriff. These things are like horses, except they fly. And I think you need roughly 7 rabbit feet to tame them. But on my adventures, I ran into a few cockatrice, and then I got a very rare drop called a cockatrice eye. And we could use that to craft it into a cockatrice scepter, which would give enemies the wither effect. Days 17 through 19, we set off to finally kill the Hydra boss. We dug a big hole in the ground and then lured it in there so that it would be trapped, and then we repeatedly took turns dying and attacking it over and over with the flame sword. One more head. I got it. But finally, we killed it. And we got nothing. It didn't drop anything. On day 20, we explored a Zeppelin that was flying in the air, and it had a lot of spawners on it and a lot of loot. Unfortunately, I cannot find the footage for days 21 through 25, but this is when Alex logged out, and I was by myself for a little bit. So pretty much I started the day off by killing rabbits, and then I tamed a hippogriff. So yeah, that was pretty awesome, but I did fly around for a little while until I found a new spot to call home. It did have a lot of work though, because I had to mine a ton of dirt and mine a ton of trees. 5 days later, I put up fencing, and the inside was pretty much flat, so I flew back home to grab most of the valuable items we had. It was now day 31, and right at the start, we started filling up this big hole in the ground, so we made ourselves like a little pond so that we can spawn fish in there, we can do some fishing, and eventually plant some sugarcane or even do some other farming later. The next couple of days, we decided to do some mining because we needed to upgrade our armor. In order for us to kill the Sun Chief boss, I felt that we would need to be a lot stronger. So we mined for a little while, got some diamonds, but then I ran into a stage 5 fire dragon nest. I was terrified. When I first found it, the dragon woke up and then I thought it was going to kill me. But then we regrouped and went over back to the nest to fight it, and it was gone. So we just looted its nest. Day 35, we just resurfaced from our trip, and then we went home, and all of a sudden, that fire dragon we saw earlier came out of nowhere. It was pissed. I'm honestly not too sure what happened here, but for the next 2 days, it was absolute hell. The server crashed like 3 times, and the dragon kept killing us. But eventually, we did kill it, and we got 80 dragon scales from it. Yeah, if you didn't know, apparently there's a dragon scale armor, which is the second best armor in the mod pack, and we just got 80 scales, which means we could craft 2 of those armor sets. Technically, mining for all of those diamonds was basically worthless, but I guess we wouldn't have found this dragon without it. I spent the next couple of days just organizing things and setting up the enchantment table. Day 40, I was killing mobs for XP, and then I started enchanting my new dragon scale armor. And then for day 41, I had to eat dinner, so I was AFK for a little bit. Days 42 and 43, we did a bit of exploring, and we came up across Barako, which our final goal for this video is to kill him. But honestly, it was a very disappointing fight. It took just a few bow shots and then he was dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god, he's easy. I just killed him. Yeah, that was pretty lame, but we did get a drop called the Soul Visage. And when you wear it, you can spawn followers, which was pretty cool because they would attack things for you, but they were extremely annoying. We traveled the oceans for a little while, and we came up on where Medusa lives. I'm not too sure what the name of the building is, but we did kill her. I may have been turned to stone once or twice, but we did also get a Gorgon head, which it's like a one-use item only, but when you wear it and you look at an enemy, it will turn them to stone. We were going to save this for the next dragon we saw because it would be kind of cool to have like a huge stone dragon statue. For these few days, we just did more exploring and more just adventuring. Oh, and also before we go further, I do use the F3 command a lot, which displays like my coordinates, my directions, and a lot of other information. And obviously, it also shows the Minecraft days. But the thing is, the server does crash quite frequently, and we're always restarting the server. And every time it does restart, the day counter resets, and it's not actually accurate. So we're not really basing the day counter off of that. But we traveled until day 51. And we saw the biggest building we have ever seen in Minecraft before. This structure made me drop down to like 15 frames per second, but there were hundreds of spawners and thousands of mobs. This monument here alone was harder than all 3 boss fights we did earlier combined. This took up almost 10 days of constant battling. We got stacks of iron blocks and stacks of diamond blocks, but the thing is, my dragon skull armor ended up breaking. So for the meantime, I crafted a diamond armor set, but then a little bit later, that armor set broke and I had to craft another one. Overall, this monument was a living hell, but it did make us rich. It was now day 62, and we were just about to leave the monument, and then out of nowhere, a fire dragon appeared. I guess that would explain why the whole place started burning down earlier. But either way, we did kill it and we gathered its scales. We wanted to keep on exploring, so we went on another journey. And then I found like at least 20 dogs and tamed all of them. Then Alex found another zeppelin in the air, so I started building up. And well, my dogs were teleporting to me and then they would be dying of fall damage. So yeah, I really didn't have any dogs left. So we traveled back home, and for days 66 through 71, I wanted to do some touching up on our land. I took down that giant hill that was next to our fencing, and then I believe Alex also built a small house for fairies. You could actually use fairies to collect their dust and then make a soup that will give you a health boost. So for any boss fights, that will be very helpful. But besides that, we just did a lot of touching up to make the whole area look a lot better. On day 72, we decided we wanted to finally explore the Nether. So we made a portal and then went through. The real main reason we went to the Nether was so that we could get ourselves some blaze rods, so then eventually we can light the end portal. There was really no reason for us to get netherite, as our dragon armor was a lot better. We traveled for the next couple of days and just killed some pigmen and then did some mining. But then on day 76, we found this very weird stone structure with a metal figure in it. Its name was Phyros Rawna. I'm probably saying this wrong, but it looked like it was frozen. As soon as we entered the room though, it started going crazy. We had no idea how to fight this boss, but I guess we got lucky killing it. Anyhow, we got 2 items from him, and it was a helmet and a battle axe. They really weren't that great of weapons, but they were super special because they never broke. Anyways, we traveled for a few more days and then finally found a fortress. We actually didn't even find a bastion either, which I guess is pretty unlucky, but I got enough blaze rods so that we could activate that end portal. It was a long journey to get back home, but when we finally did, Alex's dragon hatched. Yeah, you might be surprised. I kind of forgot to mention that we got an emerald dragon egg earlier. Pretty much, we killed a female fire dragon and then it dropped the egg. So after doing some research, all we had to do was light a piece of netherrack on fire and then throw the egg on top of it. But just look at the dragon, it's so tiny. Eventually, I think we can ride it. Day 83, I went back into the Nether and mined a lot of glowstone so that we could provide some more light for our home. For days 84 through 86, I went back into the Nether to mine some quartz so that I could do some level 30 enchanting. Unfortunately, because my last armor set broke, I had to basically re-enchant everything, but I got pretty lucky because we got protection 4 and a breaking 3 on everything except my helmet. Okay, so hear me out on these few days. I had to go to sleep because I had school the next morning, but Alex stayed up and played for another couple of hours. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of what he did, but the main thing he did do was make a ton of dragon food and then fed it all to his dragon. Just look at this thing. It is huge. I guess Alex also found another Phyros Rotnut boss in the Nether, so he waited for me to log back on, and then it was now day 92. We still had no idea how to kill this boss, but once again, after swinging at it multiple times, it just died. It was now time to finally explore the end and fight the Ender Dragon. So on day 93, that's when I crafted our Eyes of Ender. On day 94, we thought we found the spot for the portal, but for some reason, there was no stronghold. Literally, we checked everywhere, and I even installed an X-ray mod just to make sure we weren't being stupid. But literally, there was no portal, no stronghold, no nothing. Day 95. Honestly, I was really disappointed. I just wanted to fight the Ender Dragon. I had to make a decision, because obviously our playthrough was almost over, as we only had 5 days left. So that's when I gave myself creative on the server, and I placed down some portal frames. I hope you all can understand that we wouldn't have done this, but literally the mod pack makes it so that you can't find a stronghold, and it won't be generated. But we placed down the Eyes of Ender, and boom, the portal was activated. On day 96, we entered the end and fought the dragon. This was very difficult. Yeah, never mind. It was easier than any other boss we fought. For days 97 through 99, I wanted to get myself an elytra, even though we had so many other ways to fly. So we didn't only find one end city, we didn't only find 2 end cities. It took us until finding our 3rd end city to get an elytra. I don't know how unlucky that was, but it just took forever. It did obviously take us a little while to go home, so it did turn day 100 while we were in the end, but when we finally made it back home, this was it. There was only a few minutes remaining and it would be over. I would like to thank everybody for joining us on our journey. This was an amazing 100 days, and I would 100% recommend trying out this mod pack. Once again, if you did enjoy this video, then please consider liking it and also maybe even subscribing. So yeah, I hope to see you all later.